As the saying goes, nothing is certain in life except for death and taxes. Taxes we know, but what about death? Enter the Grim Reaper, a black-clothed, scythe-wielding personification of death. He comes for all of us, hourglass in hand, waiting for the last grain of sand to fall, so that he may collect our souls. But where does he come from? What symbolisms does he offer? How is he portrayed today? We will address these questions and more in the following skit. Enjoy. Submitted for your approval. This is the story of Jocelyn. She has just experienced the first pain of loss in losing a member of her family, her grandmother. This is her story, her dream of her encounter with the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, I just got back from the funeral. I'm just so confused about everything. I don't understand how this is happening. It all happened so fast. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna take a nap or something. I just really need to think about some things. Yeah, okay. I'll talk to you later. Alright, bye. I have so many questions. What the hell are you? Like the Grim Reaper or something? Am I dead? Dreaming? Thank God. Okay. Well, are you here to answer some questions? Where do I begin? So, have people always seen death in the form of the Grim Reaper?
No. The Greeks had a handsome young god named Thanatos, who had wings and would accompany the souls to Hades, the Greek underworld. He was meant to be helpful. Another version saw death in the form of women. The Norse Valkyries were beautiful women who served Odin by escorting the souls of warriors killed in battle to Valhalla, Odin's hall, to await the final apocalyptic war.
When did you take the form of the Grim Reaper?
The Angel of Death was already a part of European culture and religion during the Middle Ages, but when plagues occurred in the 14th century and over 25 million people died, a fear of unknown pestilence spread. A mood of morbidity hung over activities influencing many artists and painters alike. Not unexpectedly, death began to appear as a skeleton in the paintings from those times. Forms of death are often shown holding a dart or some other weapon. Paintings sometimes show death, swinging the scythe through crowds of people, harvesting their souls like grain. Other times, death is depicted interacting with people, tempting them to the graves. The Grim Reaper was born in this post-plague era.
Why did you take a skeletal form?
With death and dying a regular part of life during the plagues, it makes sense that artists and illustrators would depict death as a skeleton. The skeletal figure represents the decay of earthly flesh. It also reinforces one of the greatest human fears, obliteration.
Why do you wear the black cloak?
It symbolizes death and mourning. People wore black the Grim Reaper an era of mystery and menace. Also is often hiding in the shadow force the Grim Reaper plays on our fears.
Is that a scythe? What exactly is a scythe?
A scythe was used to cut grain or grass. As we used it to harvest our crops, the Grim Reaper uses it to harvest our souls for the afterlife. This imagery of death came from a natural extension of an agrarian society in which harvesting represented the death of another year.
Don't you normally carry an hourglass? What's it for?
It's a strong symbol for the passage of time. The Grim Reaper carries one to remind us that our days are numbered. When the sands are out, our time is up. Let's hope we have more than an hour.
Are Americans the only ones who believe in you?
No, I am known all over the world. There is even a religious sect in Mexico that are fighting for recognition from their government to worship me.
Did people always have to die?
Some religions believe yes. Others, like the Christian religion, believe that we were made immortal, like in the story of Adam and Eve, until we disobeyed God and were made mortal from then on.
What happens when we die?
No one really knows what happens when we die, or after we die. It is a major concern. But to relieve some of the concern, humans gave death a form that they can recognize: the Grim Reaper.
Well, thanks for answering my questions. I think I understand a little bit better now. That was enlightening.
The popular culture side of the Grim Reaper is that since the beginning of the Middle Ages, the Reaper has appeared in art, songs, stories, movies, and TV. In stories or poems like H.W. Longfellow's The Legend of Rabbi Levi, where death comes to the rabbi, saying, "Lo, thy time is near that thou must die." The rabbi asks politely if he can have and hold on to Death's scythe. Death hands him the scythe, and the rabbi runs away. And he hides until God can approach the situation and spare Levi's life as long as he gives him, the Grim Reaper, back the scythe. For songs, many people have heard Blue Oyster Cult's song, "Do Not Fear the Reaper." And in movies or stories, also, a lot more are familiar with Charles Dickens' story, A Christmas Carol, where the ghost of Christmas Future is depicted as a dark-clothed skeletal figure who introduces Scrooge to how he dies. Other movies depict death differently, such as Brad Pitt's character in Meet Joe Black, or the murderous teen slasher dressed as Death in the movie Scream. TV has its own versions of stories of death, for instance, like the Showtime series called Dead Like Me, where we follow a group of Grim Reapers as they do their jobs as they walk amongst us. Or Cartoon Network series of The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Funny or scary, woman or man, the Grim Reaper will always remain a part of our pop culture. Even if storytellers do grow weary of inviting him into their art, the Grim Reaper will always be waiting for all of us in the end.